On today's show, someone is back from Disney World, and they're going to tell us all about it. That's today on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 362 of Traveling with the Mouse. I am your host this week. My name is John, and I am going to be joined this week by, of course, Adam.
What's up, everybody?
Because there is no show without Adam.
Of course.
And we have the person who came back from Walt Disney World from last week with yet another trip report. This makes 3 in a row for this podcast.
Woo.
That would be James.
Gentlemen, how are we tonight?
Good. One more and we get a free sub.
Yeah. I think we're doing pretty good considering how everybody's been under the weather to some degree. Seems like.
Yes.
There's been some ongoing sicknesses, and there's been
COVID,
pneumonia. There's been COVID. There's been.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Name it. We've covered it.
Yep.
On this
pneumonia, COVID, ear infections.
Apparently, none of us were supposed to go to Disney because we came back completely sick. We came back plagued.
Plagued.
Or plagued while we were there. In some cases. Anyway, as I mentioned, we haven't really been doing a lot of news, obviously, because we've been having all these trip reports. So we probably will either, I don't know, I'm assuming the next episode we do is going to have to either be topic-based or we're going to go back to our usual news. I don't know. You never know what you're going to get on this show. You just know that you're going to get entertainment.
It's a wild card.
Exactly. Because we just do whatever we feel like, but it's going to be Disney-related. No?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So, as I mentioned, we have a trip report. James went to the Orlando area, Kissimmee area, mostly Disney, but he did stay off property a couple of nights. He actually got to stay a couple of nights at Copper Creek, which is one none of us has ever done before.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think he really got to enjoy his time at Copper Creek too much, which he'll mention that.
Did not.
There was also SeaWorld involved, so I'm going to let James start where he went first or how it started out. So go right ahead.
Well, we traveled down on Saturday, and we checked in at the Courtyard Marriott over in, I think it's Palm Parkway, I believe is where it is. Mm-hmm. And we didn't really do anything that night. We were going to go to the pool or everything. We ended up not doing anything because we were just tired. So we went and got something, picked it up to eat, and did nothing. So Sunday morning we had a Epcot reservation. Mm-hmm. So Jenna wakes up 7 o'clock because we can still get in the virtual queue, for Guardians, even though we're not on property. Yeah. So she got on there 7 o'clock on the dot, and we got nothing but it was just turning on us, and we got nothing. So we all assumed we didn't have anything. So she went in there. First chance she was able to grab a lightning lane, paid for lightning lane. She got it for like $12.30. So we was definitely going to get to ride it.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure all lightning lanes are paid for, unless you know something I don't. I mean, I would really love to.
The paid for ride.
The individual lightning lane. I know what you meant.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get to Epcot. I mean, we get there around, it was right before 9, I guess. So Jenna's looking. That's when she started getting, she got the paid for lightning lane when we got in there. Anyway, she started looking. So I was looking at my Disney experience. I was like, we have the virtual queue. She said, well, I haven't even looked since we've been here. So we ended up getting like group 29, and we were fixing to get called not too much longer.
Yeah.
So
good thing you looked.
Good thing we looked, yeah. So she had grabbed a test track for like $8.45. So we ran up. Of course, we had Genie Plus because we don't go that much. So we bought Genie Plus every time.
Yeah.
We got the test track, got on it, rode test track. We did the rider swap on test track.
So with Russ, did you do Nemo? Do you remember when you did that?
We did not do
that?
Nemo. Mm-mm.
Did you do the land?
No.
Okay. Journey into Imagination? I'm trying to figure out what you would have done.
We did Journey into Imagination.
Oh, okay.
What did he think of the part where the it goes dark. And
It's his second go round. He's rode it before.
He's good. So
Yeah.
he knows the drill now.
Mm-hmm. But we did not. We ended up. I think our Guardians group was coming up not long because after you do rider swap, because they had to go stand in. They stood in the line for a second, so of course me and Emmeline get to go straight through. It didn't take us long at all. The second go round. So by the time we got out of there, it was time for our boarding group, and they went ahead and went and rode. And they had Iran for the first song when they wrote it. Of course, Jenna was thrilled. That's not the one she wanted.
That's one of the ones I want, though.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that one.
Because I went and sat in the restaurant right there. What is it?
Connections.
Connections. Just sitting in Connections.
It's nice.
The air conditioning. Yeah, because it was right. I mean, it was like
it's right there.
I don't know, 10 o'clock.
So you're one of the reasons.
Probably.
Oh, that they stopped. They're cracking down on people just sitting there.
They're cracking down on making sure people who sit in there eat there.
I can understand. I can understand where they were getting at, but there was literally nobody in there when we did it. Nobody, because it was that early. It was like an hour and a half before lunchtime. So anyway,
yep.
I sat in there until they came out. Of course, because it was hot as rip. So
yeah,
me and Emmeline did it. And I know I've already told y'all, but by far, I think my favorite coaster at Disney now. By far.
You've changed your mind, yes.
I did.
Interesting.
Above Rockin' for you, what was your favorite before Rockin'?
It was probably Rockin', but I mean, of course, I love Everest too. So
right.
But dude, that ride's just awesome. It is.
It's my favorite.
It's a blast.
I think you're kind of riding the whole newness. We'll see how it does over time.
Of course, you'd say that. But hey,
Well, I mean,
it's me
you
and
are.
James against you and Jason because you guys are Everest loyalists, and
I guess you
we're
could say
with
that.
the new.
I like it. I mean, of course,
It's my favorite.
being new, smooth. So
Yeah, and the music, the elements that they throw in, and
Oh yeah.
I love it.
All right.
I think it's awesome.
Right quick, I'm going to try to throw this in here since we're talking about Guardians. Adam, did you get a chance to watch that video that talked about some of the Easter eggs or whatever it is in there, how they have several of them?
No,
In
but
Guardians?
yeah, you mentioned they have several. I know a few, but yeah, tell me.
Well, I mean, I just want to go over some that has been
Yeah.
made mention of. For instance, they actually reference a storm in there, and it's a maelstrom that they do. So they're referencing a maelstrom. They did a lot of 80s Epcot references, I
Yes.
guess because of obviously the theme going along with Guardians, right?
Right.
They showed, there was like the plan for the Florida project for Epcot that was obviously laid out there on one of the screens. This is in the regular queue, so I'm guessing, James, you probably passed it.
I never got
when you
to
did
ride.
the boarding.
That Jenna and Emmeline. went
they did the
first.
boarding group. Okay,
they
so
went
they
first.
they passed it.
So
Okay.
yeah, they passed it. I went in Lightning Lane every time I went.
Okay. And of course, you've heard about, well, the obvious ones whenever Star-Lord is making references. Quill,
To the old
I don't know why I
attractions.
couldn't think of his last name. Quill is making references to the past attractions to make, they make kind of a joke out of that.
Horizons, veggie
But
food.
there are apparently references to energy in it.
Yeah.
It's probably hard to hear when you're actually riding the ride, but whenever they launch backwards and the music starts and everything, when it says something about the Big Bang, and then Drax makes a reference, he says the ding dang, and that's kind of a reference to Ellen when she says that in the original film.
Yeah.
He says the ding dang.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, so they do a small
Interesting.
reference there.
That's funny. I like that. That's a good one.
And apparently in different languages, there apparently Ellen's name and somebody else's name was actually in the ride somewhere. I can't remember off the top of my head. But the biggest one to me that I thought was kind of cool, and you may have noticed it, may not have, is in the pre-show, there's a very small clip. You can hear like when the Guardians come on the screen for the first time, that they actually they're playing the Universe of Energy song. This is very brief. You can hear it there. But whenever you're first going up on the ride, if you notice, whenever you first see I forgot his name. The extremely large
The big
man.
guy. Big. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whenever you come up and see him, there's actually a guitar riff playing when you approach there, and it is the Universe of Energy. That's the guitar riff that's playing.
Oh,
So you got to go back, go watch a video or something, and see and listen carefully to that. You can say it's the song, "The Universe of Energy." I just think it's cool that they incorporated that song in there.
That is cool. Dang.
You know, I got to thinking when I heard it. I listened to the original track. And I was like, it'd be kind of cool if they one time for just like maybe a special actually used that song on the ride. It would actually fit. It would go along with it, or if they updated it.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome. That would be.
So anyway, slip those things in there.
Have you guys ever had a delayed launch on?
I didn't.
One of the times I rode it, it was obviously held for a certain period of time. There was additional dialogue added during the time you're being held for clearance, I guess. I don't know. But I can't remember what it was, but there was additional dialogue they threw in after that. And then all of a sudden, you just launch. So it was a different experience. On one of my,
I've noticed on one of the videos, it seems like when they say "Welcome to the Guardians of the Galaxy," there's two different spiels there, and I don't know when they play
That's
the other
what
one.
I've heard it on one of the videos. I'm like, wait, it's not what I remember hearing. So yeah, interesting.
But the most common one, of course, is the one that he says, where of course he says, "Oh, it is meaningless." In that case, welcome to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, where's that cake toast? Right. So, anyway.
Right.
Which that line is more funny to me anyway. I just went back and watched the second movie again. Drax is particularly hilarious in that one. Have you even seen the second movie, Adam? Okay. Anyway, I'm
going to have to catch up.
I wanted to throw some of that, sneak that in here real quick. I didn't want to take too much time away from James' trip report, but since we were talking about Guardians, I wanted to sneak that stuff in there. So, all right.
That is cool.
All right, James, if you want to continue.
Great, right.
So, me and Emmeline went in, and we rode it in the Lightning Lane, of course, and we had Everybody Wants to Rule the World. So
I love that one.
That's the one that I got.
All right. Well, after that, went back and got Jenna. They were sitting in there in confectionery, whatever. What is it? Connections.
Yeah.
We said, well, let's go over there and let Russell ride some stuff, since we had like an hour and a half before the Lightning Lane was even starting. So we went over and rode Journeys, and I was like, well, let's go on over into the land, because it was getting about lunchtime then. So we went into the land, and we ended up eating at Sunshine's.
Mm-hmm.
Sunshine Seasons is what used to be probably my favorite at Epcot. It's kind of changed over time as far as quick service.
For something, we was just going to grab. We didn't have any lunch plans for that day.
Yeah.
So.
But it's good for variety.
Yeah. And then while she was sitting there, we looked at Soren's line, and Soren's line was only like 15 minutes in the standby. So they were done eating, and I was just sitting there with Russell, and I was like, well, why don't y'all go ride it then? Get in the standby and do the rider swap, and that way we can go ride it when you get done. So, she got a poke noodle bowl, and I had a beef rice. Anyway, we ended up riding Soren, so that killed enough time to get back over there to ride Guardians again.
Yeah.
Don't let them go. I went and sat in the same place. Of course, by that time, it was a lot more crowded, so I ended up going up to the top part and finding a little, comfy chair to sit in until they got out. Actually went and got me a Starbucks waiting on them.
Yeah. Connections Cafe.
Yes. Got me a little strawberry Starbucks drink. It was good, too. Once they got out, of course, me and Emmeline went back into the Lightning Lane. We rode it again. And so then we took off to Mexico after we got off of there and rode Grand Fiesta. And it was about to rain. So it was a good call to get out of the rain. So we went over there, and after we got off there, we visited La Cava.
Yeah, I'm going to say, you didn't want to mention how your wife got her favorite song the second time around?
Oh, yeah. She got, what did I tell you it was, John?
Conga.
Oh, yeah.
The one she didn't want to get.
She didn't want Conga.
Oh, right. She
got Conga, and me and Emmeline got Blondie.
Right. Nice.
I think those are probably two of the worst ones that I've seen, personally.
Anyway, I was,
yeah.
To me, honestly, I'm on Team Adam versus Team Jason and John.
Yeah.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I love the ride. I will say it's my favorite current ride at Epcot, just not my favorite overall coaster.
Yeah. the best one.
Anyway, back to La Cava.
So we went to La Cava,
Yes.
and we got us a couple of margaritas, and it started raining. So we just sit in there for a minute, and of course it lasted about 10 minutes. So then we started walking, and Emmeline wanted to look in some of the shops. She wanted to look in a lot of the shops, so I think we went to China. We ended up going to America. We went to Japan. Honestly, about that time, we were whooped. It was getting late in the evening. 100 degrees outside, so we literally went. Well, we did to go see Mary Poppins. She was out and about, so Emmeline got her picture taken with Mary Poppins. Russell was asleep, so.
UK.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then we just headed to the gate. So Epcot was over.
Wouldn't you say Epcot's probably the second worst as far as the heat goes?
It was hot. There's hardly any shade around the
That's
world.
what I mean,
so.
especially when
World
you're.
Showcase, yeah.
I'm just thinking it's probably the second worst of the heat because of the not as many shaded areas, but the worst is obviously, even though it has plenty of.
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, it's got all that foliage just seems to absorb the heat.
Yeah, something does.
We did end up getting a Frozen too. I forgot. We got a Frozen Lightning Lane for like $2 something.
What time did you get it? Was it after, like, was it like a good catch to grab that one, or was it, did
I
you
think
get
she
it
ended
earlier
up
in the
getting
day?
it after we used the test track.
Okay.
And that was at like 8:45. So she grabbed it
Nice,
after
okay.
that. And it was
That's
like
not
2,
bad.
it was 2 or 2:30. I remember it was around
That's pretty
2 or
good, yeah.
2:30.
Okay.
So
That's a
was
good
in
get.
Road Frozen. Didn't really. Remy's was only around a 70-minute wait most of the day, but all the lightning lanes were gone, so we didn't.
Of course,
we didn't really. Was going to kill ourselves to try to get that one anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's new, but after having done it, I'm like, I'm not really all that eager to get back necessarily. I mean,
Yeah. It's not like a must do every time you're in the park kind of thing.
right,
For one, it's all the way in the back, unless you're coming in that way.
right. But right now, a lot of people are still going to go for it. I mean, I feel like that's going to
the newness. Yeah. Especially now with Guardians opening.
Well, back to Guardians for a second. So far, it's proven to be like super reliable. I mean, they're probably not going to have virtual queue for very long. I think by the fall
Right.
it'll be gone.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I did get me some Frushi.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good one. It's one of my go-tos.
I was like, I got to try it. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, so I got to try it.
But yeah, out of all the attractions they've done lately, that's like
the only reliable
far
one.
and above, like the only one that's showed any reliability.
How is Runaway Railway? I thought that one was seems to be okay.
It still has a good.
Really?
It's not I mean, obviously it's in the park that has the most downtime of any rides whatsoever.
Ugh, I know.
But
All right.
So, I don't know, it was probably about 5 or so, 5:30. So we stayed there from pretty much from 9 o'clock to 5 or 5:30. So we were pretty whooped in that 100-degree
It's a long day. Yeah.
So we get back to the room, and we're thinking about dinner. I'm like, well, crap. So we didn't make any reservations for that night either for nothing. So, of course, I don't know how y'all are with y'all's wives, but it's like, it's tough trying to figure out where you want to go, what you want to eat.
Yeah. I have to show the menu, and it's like,
Yes.
No, I don't want that. No, I don't like that.
I mean, this one ended up getting into we almost waited way too late, with having a 19-month-old to go out to eat somewhere.
Yeah.
I've usually had the dining plans already made well in advance most of the
I
time.
know, but we honestly, when we left Epcot, we were like, you know what, forget it, because we were tired. But after we got back to the room, we settled down for an hour or so, hour and a half. Everybody was cooled off by then, and we were sitting there going, well, what are we going to eat? So she ended up snagging that, y'all going to have to say it for me, the boardwalk.
Trattoria Al Forno.
Trattoria Al Forno. And it was kind of a late one. It was like 7:30. So it's late. So I say that's late, with a child, it's late. But anyway.
Yeah.
So hop in the car, drive over to the boardwalk. It took them a minute because it was busy in there that night. So we would probably sit in there for 20, 25 minutes before they called us. So it was after 8 before we, oh yeah.
I mean, it's just interesting that they were busy and yet you got a table.
They were busy. Well, I mean, that restaurant's pretty good size.
Well, I know, but what I mean is you say they were busy, but yet you were able to actually get an ADR, you know what I mean, at a short notice. So.
Yeah. But anyway, I had the lasagna there. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if y'all had dinner there or not. The lasagna is very good. Very good.
I've kind of wanted to do dinner there. I feel like just based on the quality of the breakfast that I got, that the dinner would be very good as well.
I did several years ago. It's probably like 5 or 6 years ago by now. So, but
I
liked
definitely
it.
was not disappointed in the lasagna. Was very good. And Jenna had like a shrimp chicken noodle thing. I mean, it was just pretty basic. You know, it wasn't nothing major to it. Anyway, it was okay, but I definitely made the best choice out of the two. Russell got a pizza, and Emmeline, I think, got a chicken breast. So she said it was good. So, and Russell ate the pizza. So it was a kind of a late night that night. We didn't end up getting back to the room till 10 or after.
Okay.
So everybody was whooped again, and got up the next morning. We had Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios is the one, and I looked at Jenna. I said, "This is what sucks about not staying on property."
Yeah,
because the line for trying to, there wasn't early entry.
Right.
Oh God,
getting in that actual opening.
I got to be honest. If I had to do ours over again, I wouldn't even bother trying to get there early. I would just get up and do lightning lanes. I would stack the evening if I could, as best I could.
Yeah, but you ain't.
That's exactly what I would do.
Well, I kind of screwed up that morning too, because Jenna was like, "Well, what do you want me to grab?" And I said, "Just get whatever you want," kind of thing. I said we weren't going to buy Rise of Resistance, so I said get whichever one you want. Because in my mind, I'm thinking we're not staying on property. Slinky Dog will not be there. It's not going to be there. It was there. She could have got it. She could have got it like 9:30.
Well,
amazingly,
they say that they don't hold some back anymore, but I think they do to a degree.
It was like a 9:30 one, and I kicked myself on the tail for telling her to get whatever. So she ended up getting a rock and roller coaster for like $9, I think it was. And I was like, crap. I wish I'd have told her to look for Slinky Dog, but I didn't. So anyway, we get there, of course. We get there and get in as quick as we can, being not on property. So it's after 9, and we're looking at the wait times, and Mickey and Minnie's was only like 15 minutes. I said, well, they ain't going to be 15 minutes. So we beeline it to it, and we go all the way through the line, and we're inside before we get stopped. So we rode that one first. Went in and did Mickey and Minnie's, and then we took off and went to Rock and Roller Coaster because we had a 9 o'clock. So after we got out of there, it was ready for the lightning lane. So they rode it first, and we rode it. I was going to look at Tower of Terror, but it was already, God, I forgot how much it was. It was already like 90 minutes or something like that already. Anyway,
yeah,
we ended up going over. Jenna grabbed a lightning lane for Toy Story Mania. Probably around 10:30. So we went on over there, did Toy Story Mania. Come back, by that time our Hollywood Brown Derby was ready.
Okay.
Oh, and I grabbed Emmeline which I mentioned that to y'all anyway, I think I sent a picture, but I grabbed her the Skyliner popcorn bucket right before we went into Hollywood Brown Derby.
I saw the picture.
Yeah. Like I said, we don't collect lightsabers. I guess we collect popcorn buckets in our house. So anyway,
that's a cool one actually. I really like that one.
It is. I like that one.
It's a little more economically sound.
And the Mickey 50th anniversary one we got when we went in January doesn't hold nothing. That's a rip. You can't even put your hand in there to get a popcorn out of it. Yeah. Anyway, so Brown Derby. Brown Derby was really good.
You got the Cobb salad.
No, Jenna got the Cobb salad, and she said it was fantastic.
That's what they're known for.
I want to say I got the rib, but it was fantastic.
Okay. You just remember it was good. That's how I feel sometimes with the cruise food.
The kids got hot dogs, and Emmeline loves hot dogs. It don't matter where it's from, she'll eat it. Jenna said that was a very good Cobb salad over there. Of course, that's one of the things they're known for over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally what I just said.
The grapefruit cake and the Cobb salad, yeah.
Yeah, and we got both of us got the margarita flight apiece.
Yeah, I saw the picture. That looked good. I bet that was nice.
It was very good. They had the regular lime, then they had the orange, and then they had what's it called? It's not Cosmopolitan.
Is Cosmopolitan a flavor?
I mean, it's a drink.
I know, but
Right.
So it had more of the berry taste. Anyway, It was all of them were very good.
They look good.
What was it you did attraction-wise at this point?
Only thing we did over there was Mickey and Minnie's Rock and Roller Coaster and Toy Story Mania. That's all we did.
Well, you got more in than I did on Hollywood Studios Day. That's for sure. We got Slinky Dog, and that was it.
We probably could have got Slinky Dog in if I'd have been thinking, which I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I knew we didn't get there early enough to even go over there without it being an hour plus waits.
Ugh, that's the problem with Hollywood Studios right now. It's just nothing is under an hour, it seems like, during the middle of the day.
Well, like we said before, it's e-ticket park, but it's e-tickets that are unreliable.
Right, yeah.
Well, we had a hopper, so we ended up hopping over to Animal Kingdom. And because the Animal Kingdom was actually a pretty good ways away from our room.
Yeah. I mean, I used to would never think that I would do it in the evening, but I mean, we didn't get there till 2 whenever we went there, and we could have done more. I mean, other than I went early that morning. I did the early morning just me, and I came back and got everybody else basically once they were awake.
Well, she snagged a Everest for $425, I believe it was. So.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we walked over there and all that, it was ready to go. So they got on it, rode it. It didn't take them very long at all. I think the standby was only 15 minutes. She ended up grabbing a Kilimanjaro Safari after that. So we didn't get to do the Safari last time in January. So Russell had never ridden it. So she grabbed a Safari, which it didn't take no time to get on it. It was a good Safari. A lot of the animals were out and about. After we got out of the Safari, it looked like it was fixing to rain, so we took off over to the covered part of Tusker House over there and hung out for a few minutes. After that, we took the cut through right there and over into Pandora. You know, where you can cut through right there and just go on down. Anyway, she grabbed after we got off of the Safari, she ended up grabbing what's the right?
Navi.
She ended up grabbing a Navi.
That's a good get.
Yeah, it was a good get. Of course, she had already bought Pandora earlier in the day, but it wasn't until like 7 o'clock.
Flight of Passage, right? Yeah.
She bought
the
all
whole
of
land.
Yeah. I was like, that's a really good get.
Yes, she got a heck of a credit card bill.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know there was a lightning lane in which you could get the whole land.
Took off, went over and did Navi. Actually, we made our order for Satuli.
Oh, yeah.
Then we got on Navi. So by the time we got off of Navi, our food was ready to pick up at Satuli. So, took off over there. And I got the mixed bowl, the beef and chicken with a noodle base. Mm-hmm. And, it was good. That was good. Now, the cheeseburger pod's very disappointing in my opinion.
They have been talked up. They were taken away from the adult menu and they brought back, which are still, I mean, they're good.
That would never be my choice, though.
No, but that bowl is fantastic.
When you have other options there, I understand.
Yeah. I always pick the bowl.
Even Russell's quesadilla, he liked it. The kid's quesadilla, he liked it. We consider that a win because he's becoming a picky eater too. The older he gets,
of course,
they go through the stage.
Gonna happen.
I mean, Emmeline got the hot dog, but of course she didn't like the bun it was wrapped in. I'm like, come on.
Oh, it's like that pretzel.
Because it wasn't traditional.
Because it wasn't traditional. That's right.
It has to be weird. It's on theme, you know.
Anyway, by the time we got through eating, I mean, we literally sat down and started eating at about the time the lightning lane hit. So,
yeah,
it was about 7:25. I told Jenna, I said, you and Emmeline need to go ahead and go. I said, y'all go ahead and get it, see if you can get on. So they ran through there. So it was rocking on. I was talking to John at the time. It was about 7:55, and they still hadn't come out yet.
It was getting close.
So she sent me a message. Says, we're getting off now.
Yeah.
You better hurry up. So we clocked in at 7:58. Me and her did on the
nice
for the rider swap.
Yeah. So of course then we just took our time getting them through there. And I think we got out. We ended up leaving Animal Kingdom probably around, I don't know. We got out of the park probably about 20 minutes to 9, I guess. Something like that.
Park had been closed for 40 minutes, and you still had a good bit of people there, it sounds like.
There was still a good bit of people there. Yeah, there's still a lot of people that hang around.
I've tried hanging around as long as possible in a park before, but I always end up giving up because I'm like, good Lord, how much longer I'm going to have to be here
Yeah, no.
to try and be the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good Lord. There's always somebody that's going to hang around.
Yeah. Well, the next day, we did not do Disney related, so I won't really touch too much on it. I'll tell a little bit, but...
Yeah, tell a little bit.
No, you can. I mean, we do that here.
Well, but so we got up, we go, and here's, y'all gonna probably think this is funny because I did. So we get up and we go to SeaWorld and we're pulling in. We're going to, I said, Jenna said, oh, we got parking and everything's paid for. So cool. So she's checking us in. The guy looks back at her and hands her the thing, goes, this date's for tomorrow. And she just turned to look at me because she thought I was going to just go ballistic, I guess. Because we already drove all the way over there. Anyway, I said, she's like, well, what do we need to do? Well, you got to pay for parking, and then you can go back in. So we had to pay for parking, go back in. I told Jen, I said, because she had bought that pass, you know, for the lightning lanes too, or whatever they call it.
Right. Their version.
Yeah, their version of it. So I was like, well, is that going to screw us up because it's for this date or for tomorrow, not today? So anyway, so she goes to the booth. Me and Russell go through, and we're sitting over in the corner. She goes to the booth, and it seemed like she was over there forever. I was thinking to myself, oh, crap, they're going to let her swap it. Something's going on.
Right.
Well, here she comes around the corner. They let me swap it. So,
Yeah.
and they ended up
Refunding the parking?
refunding the parking, back to the car.
Well, that's nice. That's
You
good.
kind of figure they would. You just got to take care of it at the
I mean,
right
it wasn't
place.
like park was at capacity by no means.
All right.
I mean, SeaWorld was not crowded at all.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
So we get to riding, and I had told Emmeline before. I said, look, you've rode some Disney coasters. I said, but this is different.
Yeah.
I said, this is totally different. So
Intensity has just been turned up a notch.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we're walking around. I don't know SeaWorld that well. She doesn't know SeaWorld that well. So we're going by a map. We're walking around. So we ride. First coaster we come to is Manta right there. And she's looking at Manta, and I'm like, you could just see her eyes. You know, you're like, I was like, I'm telling you, this one's
Different.
it's definitely pretty intense. So we ended up trying to get to the other side over there to ride Icebreakers. It's on the other side over close to the Sesame Street land. Matter of fact, the land was right there as soon as you got out of Icebreakers. But anyway, that part of SeaWorld did not open till 10. So we kind of just walked around. We didn't ride anything until 10. And then we kind of booked it on over there to Icebreakers to get on it. I was thinking, or me and her both were thinking, with it being a new ride, that there may be a lot of people wanting to go to it. That ride wasn't busy all day long.
Really?
No. It was a 0-minute wait by the time we got over there.
Huh.
And so, Jen, of course, they do it a little bit different on the rider swap. So she said, basically, it's like, tell the guy when you get off, and they'll print you a ticket, and then give it to the other person, and they give it to the person at the gate, and then you ride through again.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. A little different.
Yeah, a little bit different. So she gave me the ticket. Me and Emmeline ride it. Icebreakers, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's different. You know, you pretty much pull out and then they take you directly over to the right, and then it's
The
pretty
track
neat.
moves over onto the
The track moves over.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, it's kind of like a running start. You go back one time and it takes you, and then you go back really fast and it takes you all the way up to the top. Then you go through the ride. Which, that one, I mean, I think it's the turns and stuff. Her head was bouncing around a whole lot on Icebreakers. Because when she got off, she was like, oh, my head hurts. And I was like, I said, why? I said, are you trying to hold your head back? She said, I'm trying, but it's bouncing back and forth. I don't know. Anyway, so Icebreakers was, I mean, compared to some of the Disney coasters, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So that one kind of got her from the start. So she was kind of a little hesitant about the rest of them after that one. So anyway, we take off over to Sesame Street Land, and we ride. I think we rode every single thing over there. It seemed like, except for the train. We didn't get a chance to ride the train. And we'll let Russell go over there and play on that little playground they had in the middle over there, and slide down the slides and all that stuff. It was, I mean, it was baking hot that day.
Of course.
It was, So we go into, I don't know, we spend about an hour or so over there. So we go into a character meet and greet thing over there with Elmo and Rosita. And Russell has not actually seen any characters up close. Like, of course, because the first time we went, there was still social distancing and all that. So I just walk up there and kind of sit him in front of Elmo, and he freaks out. He didn't know. He just starts screaming and jumps back into my arm. And I was like, well, crap. So I said, come on, it's Elmo, and kind of trying to touch him. No,
nope.
Wasn't having it. Was not having it. If I walked back 2 feet, he's just sit there and look at him and smile like crazy. But if I got closer, so we tried to get a picture. I got a pretty funny picture. I should have sent it to y'all and let you seen it. So me and Russell were social distancing from Elmo, but Jenna was around him. So
that's awesome.
And then of course we went to Rosita, and same thing, nothing. Mm-mm. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh man, we got that Chef Mickey's later in the week too. He ain't gonna do nothing. He's not gonna like it. He's gonna scream, and everybody in the restaurant's gonna hear him. Anyway, so we do that, and about that time, we're trying to find something to eat. And I think one of the big restaurants they had that was actually inside, it was closed. They had an inside eating place. It was closed. I can't remember the name of it. So we go to, correct me, John, if you remember, is it called the Voyager?
I don't really recall right off the top of my head.
But it's like barbecue?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but most of the food any place else is not going to compare to Disney.
Well, it wasn't even a think of comparing. Taste-wise, it was price-wise. $95 for us to eat lunch? That's yeah.
Okay.
And no alcohol involved, period.
Dang.
Yeah. I was thinking to myself, I was like, this is ridiculous. Piece of cake was like $8. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Emmeline said she wanted a piece of cake. I was like, yeah, you can get one. So then I got to looking, I was like, it was partially my fault because I was like, yeah, you can get it. I'm like, good grief.
Good Lord.
So, needless to say, we got like barbecue chicken, barbecue ribs, some brisket. I think she just got a bunch of sides. I think got some macaroni and some fruit. Russell got some macaroni and some fruit. I mean, it was like $95. You gotta be kidding me. So then we take off, and we was like, well, let's go ride these 3 roller coasters that we haven't ridden yet, which was Manta, Kraken, and Mako. So I've ridden Manta before. Manta was having technical difficulties that day. They ended up having to take one of the carts off the track, and they were just running one. So it was taking forever.
Yeah.
So I told Jen, I said, y'all go. They got the Fast Pass. Of course, it still took 30 minutes for them to ride it with the Fast Pass. And I'm talking about not much of a line at all. Not much of a line at all. So they finally get on it. So Jenna's like, when they get off, because I was sitting where I could actually see them come out of the little tunnel there and go up the main chute there. And I could just tell the fear on Emmeline's face when she's laying down, Yeah. And when they got off and she come over, I said, well, and you could tell she's been crying. I said, was it scary? Jenna said, she was freaking out before we even got on. She didn't want to get on.
Yeah.
I don't know if she just didn't like the way it tilted them. So after that, she was kind of leery about riding.
Let's go back to Disney.
So we bebop it over to Kraken. It's the next one. So I set out, let them go ride it. At that time, Russell's fan had died. We had been using it so much on the stroller that day. His fan had died. So I had to go over and get him one of them little spray things because it was super hot that day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a chargeable one. I went over and got him one of them spray things. Of course, he loved that. So I just sit there and sprayed him with it and let the fan just sit there. And I just basically soaked him with cold water just to keep him cool. Yeah. So they get off, and I could see the look on her face again. Because Kraken's, it's pretty intense too. It does a lot of corkscrews upside down.
Yeah, Kraken is probably in my opinion, probably the most intense one they got.
It's pretty intense. So of course Jenna loved it because she likes the thrill roller coasters. So she gets off, and I was like, "Well, you going to ride it again?" Yeah. So she says, well, my head hurts. I was like, what's going on? She goes, it keeps banging in the seat. So
she was tall enough, but just barely, so it's probably
Yeah.
wasn't the best idea, truthfully.
No.
But
So we get up to the where the fast pass is, or the whatever it's called, pay for ride, whatever. We get almost to the top, and she's like, "I don't want to ride it." I was like, "Well, you remember which way we came? Your mama's gonna be right down there at the bottom."
Yeah.
So, and let me tell you, when they check to see if you actually bought that ticket, they just have to do it. There ain't no telling how many people get on those rides and don't pay for that.
Really?
No, they don't. There's no really
probably
strict
depends
system.
on the day.
Yeah, they were barely checking. This one lady pulled probably one of the oldest tricks in the book on the SeaWorld employee. She was like, "Oh, I got this ticket. Well, it says you haven't activated it yet. Oh, can we just ride and I'll activate it?" Yeah, go ahead. So when she turned her back, she was looking at her husband like,
Yeah.
"We got her." Anyway, so we get on. I ride it. I like it. Of course, I like the intense ones. Kraken. It was pretty. It seems like a long coaster too. Seems like it is.
Kraken? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty long.
Mm-hmm. So we get off of there. It's probably around 2 or 3 o'clock. We were gonna go ride the water ride, Journey Atlantis. What is it called, John?
It's Atlantis.
Atlantis,
Journey
yeah.
Journey to Atlantis, I
Yeah.
think is what it's called.
It broke down.
Really?
So yeah,
Oh.
it did. So we was like, well, we hadn't rode Mako yet, so we going over to Mako. Jenna said, "Why don't you just go ride it with her first?" I was like, "Okay." So we go up there, and then this one had a decent little line to it because it doesn't go upside down or nothing. So we get in there, and I said, "You want to ride the front?" "Yeah." So we get up there, we get into the front. And let me tell you, it's been a minute since I rode one in the front that goes up that high. I had to kind of not look down and kind of focus on one object on the coaster because I was sitting there getting a little, I was like, whoa.
How long is going to get up?
Yes, because that one, it takes you up pretty high and then straight down.
Yeah.
I was like, woo.
Like I said, it seems similar to me as far as that height part in the drop, similar to Goliath over at Six Flags.
It's
as far as that, but it's definitely different than Goliath. But, I mean,
she enjoyed that
that
one
part is the
more
same.
than the rest of them. That one, I mean, it was fast, but she definitely enjoyed that one more. It didn't seem to beat you up as bad.
I can just tell by looking at it, even though I haven't ridden it yet, it would be my style of coaster.
Right.
I like that style
Well,
of coaster.
All right. Well, we got down to the bottom, and like I said, it was hot that day. And Jenna was like, "Let's just go." She said, "I ain't got to ride it. Let's just go. We'll just let's just
I was gonna
take
say,
off
so
back
I
to the
never
room."
did do Infinity Falls then.
No.
That's the yeah. Okay.
We just we went on back to the room. Then that evening, we were sitting in the room. It was I don't know. We probably got back to the room about probably about 3:30, 4, something like that. I had snagged. I forgot to mention that I had snagged because we'd never been a Beaches and Cream.
Yeah.
For 5:20, I believe it was 5:30, 5:20. We'd never been before, so Jenna said, "Well, it'll be fun." So we take off over to the yacht club, and we eat at Beaches and Cream, which her hamburger was just okay. She said it didn't really that impressive, and the kids had macaroni and cheese, and they had their own little sundaes, which was one of their sides they could get. And then we ended up splitting, me, Jenna, and Emmeline ended up splitting the Jose, what was it, John? Jose?
No Way Jose.
No Way Jose ice cream, which was very good. Very
yeah,
good.
that's my go-to over there from there.
So,
Of course, Adam, that's the one that has all the chocolate and the peanut butter.
Right, of course. I was thinking I had to be involved. It's your favorite.
Yeah.
it was good. So we go back to the room. And Wednesday was a nothing day. So we just basically, we got us a little cabana out there at the pool. We hung out at the pool till about 1 or 2 o'clock. And we went to Disney Springs.
Okay.
And we didn't have a reservation for nothing.
Just showed up.
Because Disney Springs was packed.
Oh, really?
Golly. Yeah. So we ended up eating at Deluxe Burger.
Yeah.
Which,
Okay.
Not bad.
I mean, it was okay. I got the pizza burger and she just got the regular old cheeseburger. I mean, and it was okay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't nothing to write home about.
Right.
So we went to Deluxe Burger.
Yeah, it's just all right.
I was thinking if you just went over there, you probably could have got to Chicken Guy.
Right.
Chicken Guy was packed.
Yeah.
Everything
Well,
was packed.
It's cheap. in comparison to a lot of the other stuff, truthfully.
So we got up the next morning and we're checking out and we're checking into Wilderness Lodge. This will be Thursday.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we take off and try to get to Magic Kingdom early, but we did not. So we get there and we ended up getting on the Admiral Joe Fowler and going to the park because the express monorail was backed up down the ramp.
Yeah.
Get to Magic Kingdom that morning, and the boat was not. So we get in there and we go to the left. We go to Adventureland and we walk right on Pirates because she ended up getting a lightning lane. The first lightning lane wasn't until around 11:30, and it was Peter Pan. She got a Peter Pan.
Wow. And that, well, y'all were on property that morning.
Yeah,
right?
we were
So,
on property. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we end up going to Pirates, walking in, doing Pirates, walk on. So we go to, I said, well, last time we didn't ride Aladdin's carpet, so let's go do it because it was a walk on. So we was thinking we was going to come back because it was going to be open till 10. So I was like, well, let's don't, we're not really worried about Big Thunder and Splash Mountain and all that. So we walk over, we saw that Haunted Mansion was a 25-minute wait. Walk over, do Haunted Mansion, which it wasn't 25 minutes. It was probably more like 10.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And went up, did Small World, then went and did Philhar Magic because it was a walk-on. It was a full show, but
You just got there.
we
at the
got
right
there
time,
just
probably.
in time. Yeah, did Philhar Magic. And as soon as we got done with Philhar Magic, and our Peter Pan was perfect for our lightning lane. So we got on, did Peter Pan, and we had a little bit of time to kill because we had a lunch reservation at the Plaza. So we went over to Storybook Circus, and Emmeline wanted to ride the Barnstormer. So they got on the Barnstormer. Me and Russell just went over to Big Top Souvenirs and hung out in the turned up AC that Disney has.
Yeah.
I mean, you could feel it. It hits you as soon as you walk in. But then you're like, I'm sweating inside the building. I mean, it's crazy.
It was
Russell
that
didn't
bad.
fell asleep.
Well, Big Top's not entirely enclosed, right? It's just
yeah, but it
mostly
still has an air
enclosed.
conditioner in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after they get out of there, I'm actually starting to feel a little sick at that point. That's when I started feeling a little rough.
Maybe you just had a fever. It wasn't the air conditioning.
Maybe it was. I don't know. Anyway,
Got a fever.
Yeah.
so
The only,
More cowbell?
by the
I should have
time
went over and got a cowbell.
By the time we're walking to Plaza for our lunch reservation, Jenna got an email and said our room was ready. All right, so we go to Plaza. I got a chicken sandwich that I was not very impressed with, period. They don't have the Monte Cristo anymore.
Cristo, but yeah.
Whatever.
Kind of money, Crisco.
I think that's a different sandwich.
Jenna got the Reuben sandwich, and it was very good. And let's see, the kids just got sides to eat. And they also got an ice cream, too. They have an ice cream for a second side for the kids.
I was going to say, their ice cream is what they're mostly known for, I
Yeah.
think.
But
Which
the
you
Reuben
can
sandwich
we can
was
get
very
that
good.
without a. I'm going to say you can get that without a dining reservation, actually.
I didn't really want meatloaf in 100-degree heat, so I guess I decided for the gut bomb chicken sandwich instead. But anyway, all right, so about that time, like I said, Wilderness Lodge was ready. It was hot again. So Jenna just started stacking lightning lanes for the evening because we knew, Magic Kingdom was going to be open until 10.
Yep.
So anyway, I told them, I said, look, because we were parked, we had to park a pretty good ways away in the parking lot. So I told them, I said, look, go get on the resort boat to Wilderness Lodge. Y'all just go ahead and go over there. Since it's ready, go on to the room. I'll go to Transportation Ticket Center and walk the parking lot and go get the car and bring it over there. So they didn't have to. We got checked in, the luggage up in the room. And by that night, I was starting to feel a little rough. So I went and got me some medicine, took it, sucked it up, went back to Magic Kingdom, and we had a Splash Mountain when we got back. Did Splash Mountain. Big Thunder went down for a little while. So when we were waiting on Big Thunder to come up, we went and did Country Bear Jamboree because they've never done that before, which it was hot in there too. And
Was it really?
yes. So by the time we got out of Country Bear, Big Thunder had opened back up. So we all rider swap, did Big Thunder. We were headed over to Tomorrowland. I think she got a Space Mountain for like I think it was 8 something. So we ended up doing Space Mountain. And then she snagged a poo, which was not too far of a walk. And, yeah.
Did you splash after that? Oh. Sorry.
We knocked Minnie the Pooh out.
You knocked
back
him out?
over towards Tomorrowland. Yeah,
oh, dang. Poor guy.
Yep.
Sorry.
So then we ended up going over to Tomorrowland. I told you we did Space Mountain. We ended up doing, she grabbed a Buzz Lightyear. We did Buzz Lightyear. That's what I was telling John. I said, Emmeline really wanted to do Carousel of Progress, but they quit doing it at 9 o'clock. I was like, oh, man.
Oh, so close.
I said, oh, I'm sorry.
Next time.
Anyway.
That's because James really didn't want to do Carousel of Progress.
You didn't want a 20-minute nap?
Like, let's see. We got on Buzz at like 9:40. So by the time we got off, it was like 9:50, so something like that, 9:55. So we rushed over right quick to get in a line for the People Mover, and that was the last ride of the night.
Okay.
Because they had I think it was a cast member
event
thing that night too. So we just took off, went to the boat, went back to Wilderness Lodge, and by then, that next morning, I was running about a 99 to 100 degree temperature. I was feeling absolutely.
Oh, really?
crap.
You had checked it at that point? Because you never mentioned that.
Yeah.
So this was early enough on. Yeah.
Because we weren't going anywhere.
Well, the 99 to 100 is kind of hard to tell. It could have just been from being in the park all day.
Could have been.
That's a low grade fever.
But we had a Chef Mickey's that morning at 9. So I doped myself up with cold medicine, Tylenol, toughed it out enough to go over there and do that.
Yeah.
And I told Jenna, so while we're here, we might as well do a resort monorail, ride around. So we rode to Polynesian, come back to Contemporary. I said, we got to go.
That's where you also showed us the picture of the destruction of the Luau or Luau Cove.
So Friday was kind of a blur to me.
Yeah.
Because I absolutely felt, they went to the pool at Copper Creek. I didn't care. I didn't move off the sofa, I don't think, until that afternoon.
So really it's the main pool at Wilderness Lodge I'm pretty sure they went to then,
yeah,
right?
They went to the pool. They only went down there for about an hour and a half, something like that, because it was
that
still
was a pretty
hot
good.
as rip.
It's a pretty nice pool area over there. I like Wilderness Lodge. It's high on my list of Disney resorts, truthfully, as far as atmosphere.
Yeah, I love it too.
Everybody else is still feeling fine at that point, but me. So I just kind of hung out in the room. I said, okay, y'all. So they come back. Russell was kind of whiny. So Jenna gets up on the bed with him. He kind of falls asleep. We didn't think much about it. Put him down in his little pack and play thing there. And he just starts, making noises and something. We check his temperature, and it was 103. Ooh. So she starts calling, gets him an appointment. And then I think the closest was like 7:20 was the next appointment she could get for him to get checked. We gave him a bunch of Tylenol because we always took it with us. We couldn't get that thing to break for like an hour, so we kind of freaked out a little bit. Yeah. So we went ahead and took him, and Jenna was back there, batting him with a bath cloth the whole time, trying to keep him cool. Of course, by the time we get down there and get him checked, it's around 100. So it was coming down. Yeah. The lady was like, oh, we have a 3-hour wait.
Yikes.
So we get there about 6. His appointment was at 7:20, so it was crazy. Like 7:20, they called us back there.
Well, that worked out.
But then once we got back there, I bet we had to wait another hour. But anyway.
Were they were just that busy, huh?
Oh, yeah. Long story short, he had ear infections. I think she said both ears were infected. They gave him some medicine. We go back to the room. We ended up getting some quick service at Roaring Fork and eating it.
Oh, man.
And when I got up Saturday morning, of course, felt like crap again. We loaded the car up and we come to the house.
Back home.
After Magic Kingdom, it wasn't very eventful for any of us. So
yeah, I keep forgetting the exact name of that. I just say pediatric urgent care basically, but it's in Winter Park. Our experience there was their doctors and everything. Their staff was really good.
Oh yeah,
that was our
don't get me wrong.
They were excellent
nice.
staff.
They
were very great. Yeah,
there was a ton of people coming in there, and it was on Friday night too.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that busy when we were there. I think there's probably this surge of stuff has probably hit right around this, not long after. And you happened to be there during the peak of it, I think.
Yeah. So needless to say, once we got home, me and Jenna checked. We both had COVID. and Emmeline ended up getting it 2 days later. So we're all recovering.
Yeah, COVID's back on the rise again. Everybody's getting it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But that was it in a nutshell.
It's kind of funny how when we first were in the early days, we're talking about it. It was like, well, maybe the heat will help kill it off, and I feel like it's just the opposite. I feel like things heat up when the temperature rises. So does COVID. Yeah. The first time I had it was summer.
Yeah.
I mean, so
it was warm weather, but I'm just glad that everybody's starting to feel better.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. I hated that it happened, during the trip.
At least it was towards the end. At least that's a good thing.
As far as you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could have started in the middle.
It probably started before I went.
Right. So you probably got it at Disney somewhere.
That's what Jenna said.
Somewhere.
Jenna said you probably did.
Could have been anywhere. It's so crowded right now. So.
Well, I mean, Adam, in your group, you've had at least 2 diagnosed with it from when y'all were there? Not long after or afterwards?
But I don't know if we got it from there. I feel like it was a week.
Too late. I think it was too long.
I'm thinking
it
was after that. But, they're saying these new subvariants of Omicron are like you can get it again and again and again. Yeah.
I mean, during my bout I've had of this stuff, it's been going on for a while. I guess I could have been at some point, but every time I've tested, it was not. Right. It was negative. So
That's me. Like,
who knows?
Apparently I can't test positive for COVID. I've never have. But I feel like I've had it twice by now.
Well, I went first, and mine come back positive pretty quick. Yeah. Jenna's, it took a minute, but that line finally showed up on hers.
Yeah.
So.
Really?
Yeah, and today, hers actually showed up faster today than it did previously when she took it Saturday.
And it still showed positive?
Yeah, she still shows positive today.
Interesting.
Yep.
Those home tests are quite reliable, or seem to be.
Yeah.
Well, that was it, fellas. I'm sorry it wasn't too exciting, but
no, it was good. I mean, so you got some new experiences in.
We did.
New dining experiences too.
We ate at a couple of different places. That's what I tell her every time we go. I said,
do something new.
I either want to do a breakfast or a dinner or a lunch. One of them somewhere new that we haven't done.
Yeah.
Every time we go.
Yeah.
I want to at least try to do that.
That's what I hated about my trip was I ended up having to pretty much cancel all dining that I had, no matter what it was. But at least since you're in Disney, you're going to get good quality for the quick service or even mobile order from a good restaurant too. Like Three Bridges. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be good quality. It's not fast food. It's not the same.
Because we had a Whispering Canyon for Friday night. We were going to do the dinner for Friday night.
That would have been cool.
Because like I said, we weren't planning on leaving after we got back from the character breakfast. We weren't planning on leaving the room going anywhere else.
Yeah.
We had like a 5:20 or 5:30 Whispering Canyon. Of course, that got canceled. Then we made us a reservation to the urgent care.
Yeah.
So overall, when you think about how much money you maybe spent on this trip, do you feel like it was still worth it?
Yeah, kind of, because I don't think we really took advantage of the park hopping.
I walked away feeling like this didn't feel, it feels less worth it like each time it seems like.
Like I said, the one that bummed me the most was not really getting to walk around Wilderness Lodge. Hardly any.
Yeah.
And checking it out or going out to the pool with them on Friday.
Our Geyser Point.
Because I really wanted to. Yeah, Geyser Point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I asked you about sending a picture of the room, and you sent one eventually, but even that, even then, y'all looked miserable in the ones you...
Oh, yeah.
I saw.
Well, I think when I sent you that was when we just come back from Magic Kingdom. So, everybody just come out of the heat. Yeah. It was... everybody was whooped. But I told Jen, I said, I don't think I want to go back in the summertime.
Yeah.
There's some things good about the summer, but I really think going forward, when I do something like this, I'm probably going to take the approach of stacking lightning lanes and just go in the afternoon to evening.
Yeah, honestly,
especially if it's warmer.
That's what we did for Magic Kingdom, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, that's the day I had the most fun. Truthfully, was doing that. So in this era, there's really no point in getting to the park first thing in the morning. Especially if it's going to be busy. So
right, especially if you're off property too. Like definitely, what are you going to do?
Even that 30 minutes for the resort guests, though, unless you're one of the first 100 people, whatever it is you go to first is still going to take a few minutes.
Yeah.
All right. That wraps this up. That's James's trip in a nutshell. All right. So if you enjoyed that and you want to find more of our content, course, you can follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That is all at TWTM Podcast. I did upload at least one video, I think, that's gotten some traction, of the Guardians. And we have a Spreadshirt store in which you can buy your exclusive TWTM merchandise. That is shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM podcast.
And our website is travelingwiththemouse.com. You can email us podcast at travelingwiththemouse.com. And if you need assistance or would like assistance with your own Disney World cruise, Universal trip, you can use our travel agent friend. Her name is Jill Dilbeck, and her email address is jilldilbeck@gmail.com.
So, for Adam and James, my name is John. This has been Traveling with the Mouse, and we hope you will join us on our next trip. Whenever you were about to talk about the SeaWorld stuff, I was like, we actually, when we originally started this, we kind of did it like
A tribute to all of our travels, but mostly Disney.
Except mostly Disney.
I was hoping y'all was going to say no because that day sucked.
Okay.